your allies are calling on you to pardon Derek Chauvin. Are you considering pardoning Derek Chauvin?
No, I haven't even heard about it. No.
Now, I heard this type of whispering before. Hey, Trump gonna probably try to pardon Derek Chauvin. And I was like, you can't do that. Trump cannot pardon you from state convictions. There is a conservative commentator by the name of Black Conservative Perspective. He commented on
the Black Conservative said that Derek Chauvin didn't murder.
Why are you talking like a slave? So I'm gonna react to his reaction. And go check him out because I'm using his content out of respect. Go check the brother out because I'm using his content to do this reaction. But check this out. So this is crazy. I've never done this. Let's see how it goes. And he's going to talk about Rashad Ritchie and a couple other people. So this is funny. Let's go.
More info as to the racist belief of one, Ben Shapiro, look no further. He's calling for the pardon of Derek Chauvin, the man who murdered and was convicted by a jury of his peers of that murder against Mr. George Floyd. Yes?
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin. President Trump should, in fact, pardon Derek Chauvin. But when it came to BLM, the inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime, was in fact the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates that Derek Chauvin did not in fact commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. Talk about delivering pardons. President Trump, I think, should really seriously consider pardoning on federal charges. He can't pardon on state charges Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of the murder of George Floyd. As I say, we will be covering this pretty extensively in the coming weeks. Right now, you should go to pardonderek.com and sign our petition asking President Trump to grant justice to Officer Derek Chauvin.
Okay. Wow. Okay. There's so much more to this. Maybe I should let us go further. Let's go further, man, because there's going to be a lot more said. But I got feelings already about this that I'm ready to go into. But now let's keep going.
Now, who is backing the play? Well, Elon Musk, who decided to repost this in solidarity with such an offensive thought. To pardon a man who murdered a black man while being recorded doing so. Sharon, just when you thought it could not go any lower, they figure out how to knock the bottom out of low and go even lower than that. What say you?
These are punks and fools. They're agitators and gaslighters. That's all this is about.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about the liberal blacks who are upset with Ben Shapiro over the fact that Ben Shapiro is pushing President Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin. Now, a lot of these individuals are now boohoo-whining, crying racism, hate, bigotry against Ben Shapiro for suggesting that Derek Chauvin should receive a pardon for his federal charges. Now, here's the issue with that. The issue is that Derek Chauvin was also convicted of state charges, okay, manslaughter.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro already said that, so we already know that. But okay. Yeah, okay. I guess it's worth restating what he just said, which is true. I think it's beside the point, but let's go.
Second degree murder, third degree murder. And therefore, even if he was pardoned by the president, he still would have to face time in state prison. Okay, so effectively, a pardon would not really help Derek Chauvin with his freedom. But at the same time, I personally feel like the president should consider pardoning Derek Chauvin. And one of the reasons why, as Ben Shapiro laid out, has to do with the fact that I don't think that he murdered George Floyd. Okay, I personally believe that George Floyd died due to a totality of the circumstances, mainly the fact that he had heart disease, along with the fact that he had drugs in his body, like, for example, fentanyl. Okay, I think that he was ODing at the time. And it just so happens that He was getting arrested, okay? And Derek Chauvin ended up doing what most police officers do in a situation like that, okay? I don't think he did anything outside of what normal police would do in a situation like that.
No, he did do something outside of what he did. He put pressure on a guy's neck for extended periods of time, which is against everything that he was trained to do. So he did do something. Now, I think it's important to say that if these people believe, now a lot of conservatives believe that George Floyd died of fentanyl overdose. I know Candace Owens put out a documentary saying this, and there's a lot of conservatives who believe it. I didn't even watch the documentary. But I'll tell you this, I know what the medical examiner said. Medical examiner said he died from asphyxiation. It said he died from the activity, that George Floyd died from what was done by Derek Chauvin. That Derek Chauvin asphyxiated the dual compression contributed to the death, caused the death of George Floyd. That's what I say. Not contributed, but that it was the primary cause of death. Not heart disease. If he'd have just went home, he would not have died of heart disease. Like, you might have heart disease right now, dude. Anybody can have heart disease. Like, it's just clogged arteries. Anybody can have that. Okay? If Derek Chauvin would have just lifted his goddamn knee over George Floyd, we're not sitting here. You don't have to sit there. I don't have to sit here. We don't even have to have this conversation. He did not need to do that to a handcuffed person. He could have let the handcuffed person just lay there handcuffed. He did not have to apply pressure to it. There is nowhere that says you have to apply pressure to somebody that's handcuffed. So, what you know, you can't make a statement like that and be a conservative to your audience, and particularly black. You can't do that. That's too reasonable. It's too reasonable to say, hey, why come Derek Chauvin just couldn't have done something a little different? I know you like to say that George Floyd really made out, but he didn't. He's dead. So he really didn't win. Okay? He is the victim. He is dead. He is not here. He didn't get any money. He didn't get a holiday. He didn't see the protest. There's no benefit of this from the person who's no longer on this earth, in this realm, walking the planet. Okay? So let's keep going. Because I'm not over. It's going to get more fun.
And George Floyd happened to die. Okay? And I don't think that Derek Chauvin
happened to die. He happened to die. Okay, here's the thing, man, and this is it for me. If you can prove that Derek Chauvin did not cause the death, then you got to go back to court. You know how many black people are in jail right now who say they were wrongly convicted? The most exonerated people in America are black. Of course, the black perspective wouldn't talk about that. But yeah, most of the overturned cases on DNA, on evidence brought after a conviction are black Americans who are railroaded. But of course, Ben Shapiro doesn't want to take up those cases where black people are railroaded. There's many more cases of black people being railroaded, civilians, than there are white cops. Okay? Even if that's what you believe, there are 10 times, hell, probably 100 times more cases of black people being railroaded to conviction compared to how many white cops are railroaded into convictions. But there is no push, there is no petition to get those cases overturned by Ben Shapiro, and no videos of the black perspective arguing for it, which I find very interesting, but very much expected.
Chauvin was the main cause of that. Now, some people may find that to be a controversial opinion. Okay, some people may say,
no, just a wrong opinion. It's not controversial. We don't, as a person who's independent, not a conservative and not a progressive at this point, I don't find it controversial. I find it very much what I would expect from you. Because I can't remember, I don't watch you often, but I doubt that you step out of line often. I can't remember, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I would expect you to take the position that you take. I think it's a wrong position, but that's just an opinion.
The black conservative said that Derek Chauvin didn't murder.
Why are you talking like a slave? And see, this is why I have a problem with the conservatives who make the money with the 95% white audiences, is they tend to do stuff like this, and like I'm over it with the progressives or with the liberals who kind of do the same thing to conservatives. Like I'm over calling them coons and all these things, Uncle Toms, all this stuff. I don't do that, but I also don't do this. I don't rock with the conservatives who do the exact same thing the other way, which is what he's doing. If you got a 95% white audience, why are you doing slave voices to describe people disagreeing with you? Like, where's Chicken George? And why do you need to emulate his voice? When you're imitating white guys, I bet you don't do that voice. When you're imitating the people that mostly watch your content, I bet you don't have that disparaging mockery of them, do you? Of course not, because you know how to keep your money coming in. So it's just, it is what it is. I think it's pathetic. I didn't think it was funny. I would at least hope you had a little bit more skill set with your jokes. But,
Okay, and I don't think that Derek Chauvin was the main cause of that. Now, some people may find that to be a controversial opinion. Okay, some people may say, the black conservative said that Derek Chauvin didn't murder George Floyd. He a sellout. He this, he that. That's what the race hustlers like the Amazing Bottom and all those, they'll be making videos.
Race hustlers. No, man, just because they disagree with you, yeah, I don't know. He's talking about somebody specific, so.
Upset about my opinion on Derek Chauvin. But more so than anything, I believe that pardoning Derek Chauvin sends a message to law enforcement that the federal government is behind you. And I think that
now this is the part I want to comment on. Now, this is as far as I saw this video. And I said I'm gonna use the video. Guys, only about 1% of cases that are reported by cops killing or hurting people ever get to court. Like 1%. This fallacy. And I know it's really good. It's good for business. Like I reported earlier, the Democrats, they try to gin up excitement and try to fundraise off of this idea that that Trump and Elon are going to cut Social Security, knock grandmas off their walkers and make old men jog for their dinner. Like these are lies. And it's also a lie that conservatives try to float that cops are facing such huge scrutiny. The whole defund the cop thing and all that shit, that was all nonsense, man. At the end of the day, cops, their budgets increased. They didn't get defunded. But they used that language of activists on the liberal space to try to say, oh, we can use this. We can fundraise off this idea. Nah, 1 year you got 100 million, and instead of getting it increased to 110 million, like always, they increased it to 105 instead of 110. They called the decrease of not getting it bumped up 10 million, but only went halfway. They called that a defunding. It wasn't like they were getting 100 million and they cut them back to 80 million. Nah, they just didn't get as much of an increase as they wanted. And so they lied like a rug. And of course, the black conservative won't tell the truth because they want to gaslight their viewers. They want to pretend. They want to lie to their viewers, basically, and make them believe something that isn't true, that benefits them, that gets them riled up, that makes them believe they're up against it and they got to fight the power. because those darn progressive lefties are taking over the country. Folks, once again, you have a cop interaction that leads to a conviction is less likely than getting struck by fucking lightning. Do you know how many cop interactions there are with people? The amount of those interactions that result in harm, and then imagine the amount of actions that result in harm that actually get charged and then actually get convictions. Guys, we're talking about the flying rhino. We're talking about a polka dot rhinoceros. Maybe there was one. There's been a few. There's only been a handful. And this guy and all these other folks in the conservative media space, they make their bones, they make their money off this fallacy. It's garbage. It is garbage. Cops are not under attack. Cops are not under attack. Okay? Cops are not all of a sudden out of favor and all of them are going to jail. No. The occasional cop gets to lose their job, usually asked to resign, and then just go across the street and get another job. I mean, the systems aren't even tied together to stop them from getting another job somewhere else. But this guy, we need to let Chauvin, who did all the wrong things, get, we need to send a message to cops that Trump has cops back. Yeah, there have been some black cops that done some shit, like beat the hell out of Tyree Nichols. You want to send a message to them too? I'm just asking because I got a feeling your white audience, your white conservative audience don't give a shit about those black cops to beat up that black guy. But I'm just wondering, because they're cops that beat people's ass. Maybe those cops need you to have their back. I wonder if you need to send, Trump. And this goes out to Ben Shapiro and it goes out to conservative black person. Why no videos starting a fundraiser to get those black cops off that, who beat the shit out of and left for dead Tyree Nichols? See, because your audience doesn't care. And it's not a good talking point because they don't care about what happened. And you can't fundraise off of it. Similar to the Democrats. So I just want to show how the Democrats and the conservatives are pretty much the same. It's basically the same thing. And how those talking heads, are pretty much doing the same political maneuvering that we can't stand that turns us off to politics to begin with. I'm going to end it on this, and I think that's enough. But thank Black Perspective Conservative for allowing us to use this video without any problems. I'll say this. If Derek Chauvin, I'm going to throw a bone, and I'm going to say this. If Derek Chauvin was railroaded, I'd like to know about that. I'd like justice. And if he was railroaded, because that's basically the message that's sent from those documentaries and these other statements, is that the entire state of Minnesota conspired to fabricate a lie in order to help the Democratic Party. Now, I would like that to be unearthed. I would like that to be revealed, wouldn't you? I would like to see justice. If that's the case, let's get some justice. Let's see that happen. Because if that happened, that's a very dangerous thing. That we got medical examiners, we have state's attorneys, or, we have all these government officials, people working in capacities that lied, coroners, all these people fabricated and lied about something in order to help a Democratic Party. I think that needs to be exposed. That needs to be exposed. And if that's the case, you should blow that wide open. That should be blown wide open. This should be common knowledge, because today, or this time it was this, it could go the other way. It could go any other way. And, injustice is injustice. And we need to root that out. But that's not what you're talking about, is it? And what I'm saying is you would need a new trial. You would need a new trial. And maybe Derek Chauvin is just like many other black men who have found themselves in jail, wrongly convicted. And if that's the case, I hope the Innocence Projects come to his aid the same way it has to happen with all these poor black people. Yeah, all these poor black people that had to get the Innocent Project to prove them innocent. Yeah. That happens so often. It happens more than it should. But if that's the case, I hope it happens. Because Derek Chauvin deserves to be treated at least as good as a black person wrongly convicted. Let's see if that happens. Because, Ben Shapiro, black conservative dude, with your hat turned backwards. We just want justice, right? My brother.